the consensus so far. And I'm 4x4 playing by 4. Like I said, I was saying
Thanks. Have a
last
great
class,
day.
I used to be pretty anti it now. I think mostly because I hate their fries. That's still.
I like their fries. I think I'm one of the few people that like
Because they use an
love
air
their
fryer.
fries, but it's because in California. So. I love their fries.
I'll eat them every once in a while because I don't go to In-N-Out very often. But
their fries with a couple extra salt packs are delicious. I love their fries.
the conclusion my wife came to was that if we each got a burger and then one thing of fries, that would be the problem.
Hey guys, come in and grab the papers in the front, please. And get working on your assignments. We got a lot to get through today.
So by burger, I don't have to love it.
Well, and I was going to say, I've been impressed. There used to be anti the last couple of times I've gone, I've been impressed.
Their fries, their burgers are good if you need like a salty, more salt.
You got that persuasion?
Well, Five Guys fries, or by Five Guys Cajun fries.
You have made the floor of Ron Swanson.
Love Ron Swanson.
Their normal fries, I don't think are
Alright, perfect.
Thank you.
I really put in then sometime this week. Oh, that's alright. Got one. That's right.
The normal fries are good. They're not top tier. They're like a good solid B. But their Cajun
No,
fries.
I've read smaller.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No,
Have you ever read the original Communist
I love Five Guys, but something broke. Yeah, Five Guys.
The ones I like their burgers.
I read it out of interest.
I like how they put the cheese in. I like how they do it after it comes off, so like it doesn't melt. So unless you travel with it, your cheese isn't good. Which I don't.
For a long time.
I didn't like the Five Guys this time. I didn't like how like crumbly it was because like it kind of fall apart. Well, it's because mine it definitely moist. Yeah, that's what mine was. Because if the cheese doesn't melt, I want to go. I haven't been in such a long time. You guys doing
So Korean War.
That's the solution.
According to McCarthy.
I was here at like 9 and 10. Trying to get
We're already done with World War II. I hate how fast it goes. It's like that. You didn't even really do it. We watched All Quiet on the Western Front. Finished it. Yeah. So then we did the last 2 episodes of All Quiet. And then we watched, I think we're going to watch Darkest Hour. We did 45 minutes of All Quiet. No! Pretty good. Actually, I don't know. No, I don't think we've done all of it. We just did. We did the premiere. I definitely. I watched it last night. I was like, I know we're watching this. You know, seminar. Yeah, be a decent student. Good. Good call.
Alright, make sure everybody grabs papers in the front of the room. Are we
No, I'm not starving.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get some more.
I got nothing.
No, I'm okay.
Ow, I had to restock.
Grab your papers.
What do you eat?
I don't know yet. Possibly.
Me.
Good.
your thesis about a hamburger goes on this white note card. Who else? Do you need one? Okay. Do you need one? Note card. So then the thesis on your pre-class for today. Tell me the best place to get a burger in American Park. Write it on this note card.
Stop being friends.
Okay. Anybody else get a note card? Okay. All right, as you guys are doing that, I am going to remind you that you are my favorite class, right? And as such, you have been selected to be videotaped. Do you remember this? For my EdTPA, for my teaching license, right? So there is a camera in the back recording. It's recording me, not you. But I do need you guys to speak up when you're talking. How many to try to be, somewhat behaved so we can get through everything today? Okay, please, as a personal favor to me, I'd very much appreciate it. All right, we are missing some people today. Where's everybody today? I'm going to give you however long it takes me to finish taking rolls, finish your we have no Karma today. Parmesan Cruz.
Best burger in American Park, definitely.
Is Lexi here? Yeah. Atlas is not here today. Jay is not here today. Seriously, what's happening? I was like, it's first grade, and I was like, we might actually get through it all now because that
I think maybe I've got this shit.
all right, guys. I'm going to give you 20 more seconds to finish writing your thesis and put your phones away. Okay, there are multiple of you. Okay, I need to know which best place to get a burger in American Fork. Make your claim and give me 3 sub-claims.
In and out. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. You guys get to plan my date night this week, right? Right? Okay. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to, first thing that you're doing is you're going to underline for me your claim. Okay, what's the claim that you wrote in this thesis statement? Second thing you're going to do is you're going to underline for me your 3 sub-claims. That just helps me out when I'm reading and grading them, right? So what are the parts of a thesis statement? When we write a thesis, the first thing we always do is state. We restate something. What is it that we restate?
The best place to get a burger.
Yeah.
And in this case, you're choosing for the user.
Okay.
So, for example, this one is asking where it is. So the way you would answer was the.
Yes, so it's a declaratory statement. Thank you, Garrison. Okay, and we're going to start by restating the question or the prompt. In this case, it's where's the best place in American Fork to get a burger? Okay, you're going to restate that for me. Then you're going to make your claim. You're going to tell me what the answer is, right? And then after the claim, what do you do?
Put your evidence.
Put your evidence. Well, not your evidence, your subclaims.
Your subclaims, then your evidence.
Right, and then when you flesh out those subclaims later on in the essay, that's where you give me your evidence. Okay, so I've written it right here. Restate the prompt, write your claim, give me your subclaims, and make sure that you end it with punctuation. You should never use a question mark. Okay? You're not asking somebody if this is the best place to get a burger. You're telling them this is the best place to get a burger. So don't ever end your thesis statement with a question mark. Don't end it with a semicolon. Okay? Don't just launch into the next thing. Declare it, be filled for a minute, and don't end it with nothing. Please give me a period. Let me know that you're done and moving on to your next thought. You'd be surprised how often students forget that part. Okay, Kira asked a good question. What's a subplane? Okay.
For example, if I said,
Guys, I can't hear Garrison.
the best place to, best place for burger is the grill, then you go down to the starting point. Yeah, like the main point, and then you just go off on the
Okay, so a subplane then is the things that back up your plane. So if I say the best burger is, he says have a burger, then I'm going to give my reasons why, because. So here's what you're going to do. Take 30 seconds at your table. See if you guys can agree. Read your thesis statements to each other. See if your table can agree on one burger joint. Ready? Go. You've got 30 seconds. That's also good.
In-N-Out, Bon's Cheese Crispy, I don't like it. Seriously, all chicks choose JCW, that's just bad. Okay, I don't order food, no.
Mr. Burke, what's the best hamburger?
When I go there, I don't order food, someone's bought
I don't live in AF.
Okay, you got 10 more
In-N-Out.
seconds.
Just say
and
no.
I've ate the burgers there, but I never like food.
All
And I
right.
just get the hangout place.
All right, 3,
That's burgers.
2, 1.
In-N-Out's so simple.
Okay, so what did each table come up with? What was the consensus at this table? McDonald's. All right. Okay, back there, Aaron, what did your table say? In-N-Out?
No, JCW.
What? Hold on, which was it?
In-N-Out.
No.
In-N-Out. It's In-N-out.
It's In-N-out.
In-N-out.
In-N-out. So it's
Yes. I changed In-N-out. In-N-Out's better than JCW.
That was disgusting.
Okay, right here, what did we come up with?
In-N-Out.
JCW's? Okay, my back table, back there. What did you come up with?
In-N-Out's not. Wait.
Fallon? Dalton. What'd you come up with?
We both had In-N-Out.
I just hate going to
Two of each. Okay, so In-N-Out and JCW.
We'll go there after.
Okay, over here, Kira. A1. All right, here, guys. What'd you come up with? You didn't have a consensus? All right. Okay. Okay, so my totals. Guys, remember when you're chatting, the video has a hard time hearing anything other than what's going on at that back table specifically. Okay, so my day tells me from all my 4 classes, apparently I have to go to In-N-Out. I really don't want to. In-N-Out this weekend. Okay?
I'll go to JCW's.
Okay, so let's write this thesis statement then as a class. Okay, so how do we start? We gotta restate the prompt. How do we do that?
Is In-N-Out.
The best place
In-N-Out.
to get a burger in AF is In-N-Out. Now what happens? Because.
Did she just say like burger joint?
Okay, so give me some subclaims, Kira. This is gonna help you learn what a subclaim is. Everybody, give me some subclaims.
They have crisp.
They have crisp patties.
They have crisp.
They have crisp patties. What do we hear over here?
They're quick.
They are quick.
Honestly, the burger
That was my McDonald's table, right? Okay, I need one more subclaim. I need one more subclaim. And they are yummy. Okay? They are yummy. Okay. So where's my claim?
The best place for a burger is
In and out, right? This is my restatement, right? My claim in and out. Because, and then what are my subclaims? Crisp patties, split, and yummy, right? Would be my three subclaims. Does that make sense, Karen? Does that answer your question? Okay, awesome. Okay, so now the question becomes, why is Mrs. Wood making us write a thesis statement about burgers in a history class?
Because we're about to do some
Because I needed a restaurant for Valentine's Day. No, I really didn't. My husband and I don't go out on Valentine's Day, we stay in. It's our tradition. I can cook, like I can. So we stay on Valentine's Day. So Garrison's right. We're gonna write. I'll wait till everybody's ready. There we go. We are going to write an essay about the Korean War. Does anybody remember what the essay is? I'm going to have you write. Not today, but I'm going to have you write for about the Korean War.
Communism. Oh, who was lying?
Okay.
The South, or that one article?
Do you guys remember? Who has this piece of paper? Pull it out.
I have it. Because
Your evidence file?
I think I do.
Okay. Do you remember at the beginning of this unit on the Cold War?
We have some stuff.
At the beginning of this unit on the Cold War, I talked to you guys about here are some possible essays that might come up on the test or as a separate essay. And so you should be writing notes down as we talk about the different things, and that's why I gave you this evidence file. And I told you specifically, it says right here at the bottom, full-length essay question. Should America have used the atomic bomb in the Korean War? Okay, that is what your essay is going to be on. Next time when you come to class on Wednesday, it's your in-class writing day. That's when you guys will be writing the essay. Okay? I'm also going to point out really quick this vocabulary grid that I gave you guys at the same time you got the other paper, right? And I tell you every time today's vocabulary words are General MacArthur, armistice, total war, and limited war. Those are things you should be looking for to fill in. Your sheet should pretty much be filled by the end of class today. I think they might be completely filled by the end of class today, now that I look at it, okay? But you want to make sure you've got that evidence file with you. Hopefully you put some stuff on it last time when we talked about Korea and our class on Thursday. Hopefully you'll get some more stuff to put on there today so that you will be totally ready for it next time. With me? Okay, so let's talk about what's happening today. Our agenda, we did our best burger debate, okay? We're going to talk about Truman versus MacArthur. We're going to talk about limited war versus total war, nuclear bombs, and escalation. What is escalation? Something gets out of hand, it blows up, it gets bigger than it was before. Constant rise. Escalation is a constant rise, okay? It's taking things up a notch or two or five, right? That's escalation. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to use the last 15 minutes of class, give or take, to talk about incorporating textual evidence. Okay, I'll talk to you more about that when we get there, but that has to do with the essay. Okay, and helping you guys get prepared to write a great essay. So here we go. MacArthur and Truman. First of all, so pull out, you should have your green note sheet that I gave you for today. We're doing War Part 2. Korean War Part 2. Alright, today we're going to do an inquiry, an investigation. You guys are going to tell me the story of what happened between MacArthur and Truman. So first of all, who was General MacArthur? Pacific Theater. He was the leader of the Pacific Theater in World War II. Okay, he's the guy the Japanese actually surrendered to. charge of that. So because he's that guy, do you guys think Americans like him or hate him?
They like him.
We love a war hero. America loves a war hero. Who's Truman? The president, right? President Truman.
No one
He
likes
is the
him.
president of the United States. At the end of World War II, United States wins. Do people like Truman or not? Yes. Okay. Truman and MacArthur, great guys. But something's going to happen during the Korean War. We're going to have that relationship between the two men. Any clue what's going to happen based off of the picture up here?
Their opinions are gonna split. It's gonna get, this war running is gonna get really heated.
It's going to get heated. It's going to get ugly. What can you tell me based off of this graphic up here? Is there anything else you can just infer or guess about what happens? Vincent? So you think that there was a dispute about the bomb? One pro, one against, right over here? That's what you were going to say? Garrison?
No, never mind, this is historical context, so it's just say MacArthur, like, history fact, dates are accurate.
Okay. So anything else you can tell from the picture? What else is the picture telling you? What? So the bomb, a bomb plays a role. What else?
MacArthur's kind of more,
Okay. He looks really tough. Okay. Part of the reason we think he looks tough is what's he wearing? He's in a uniform, right? What's Truman wearing? Suit. Okay. So what's Truman's role in this war? He's the president. He's a civilian commander-in-chief, right? He's not part of the army. What's MacArthur's role in this war?
Commander.
He's a commander. He's the military guy.
Actually, technically.
Do they see the same thing? Are they looking at the same thing?
No.
Do they have the same goal?
No.
Do they have the same perspective?
They have different glasses on.
They have different, they see things differently. They have different glasses on. Sure, I hadn't thought about that, but sure, right? They see things differently. They're literally looking through different lenses. Okay? And they're not looking in the same direction. So do you think that they have the same goal in mind for the war?
No.
Okay. Here's what you're gonna do. We're gonna look at this, we're gonna look at some documents, and you guys are gonna figure out the story and tell me what happens. Here's how it happens. Here's how it works. On that green paper, the first thing that it says is it says, what is the goal of the United States involvement in the Korean conflict? Okay, that can be summed up in the Truman Doctrine. Do you guys remember what the Truman Doctrine was? We talked about it way back when we talked about dividing of Europe and the Marshall Plan. Remember we looked at the cartoons of the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan? Okay. All right, you guys are kind of remembering, but not totally. That's fine. I thought that might happen. Your single sheet of white paper, fill it out. This is an excerpt from the speech that became known as the Truman Doctrine. We're going to work through this one as a class, and it will be your example of how I want you to work through the rest of the document. So, who has a loud voice?
Yo, me.
You do have a loud voice.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, you really do. Would you mind reading for us?
Alright, where at?
Okay, so that's just that single sheet paper.
Okay.
Everybody follow up. If you have a highlighter or a colored pencil, anybody wants a highlighter that doesn't have one at their desk? Hold on. Oh, I'm just throwing them.
I have to have 3 guys, don't touch them.
Anybody else?
Just kidding. Like,
You want one?
there it is.
Nice catching. Anybody else? Awesome.
People have 3.
Anyone else? Last call. Okay, follow along as this is read aloud. I want you, if you find something that you think is the key, okay, the most important part of this quote, highlight it. Okay? But just listen. Go ahead.
I believe that it must be the policy of the United States to support free peoples who are resisting attempted subjugation by armed minorities or by outside pressures. I believe that we must assist free peoples to work out their own destinies in their own way. I believe that our help should be primarily through economic and financial aid, which is essential to economic stability and orderly political process.
All
Very
right.
true.
Harry Truman. Okay, Truman Doctrine. So now, right there on the bottom of that piece of paper where there's all that white space, it's not on accident, I want you to sum up what he said there in one sentence. Write a summary of what he said. So you're highlighting the most important part, and then you're going to summarize what he said. What's the general gist? What's the idea to get from that excerpt? Got 30 seconds, give or take, maybe a minute. Okay, summarize it. What do you think it means? Hopefully this sounds a little familiar, right? Hopefully it's familiar to you. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it. Take a stab at it. And figure out what the Truman Doctrine was. I'll give you another 15 seconds, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. Who wants to share? What do you think this is saying? What's this document telling us about the Truman Doctrine? No one wants to share? What? What did you say? Okay, I want you to turn to the person sitting next to you, share your summary with them. Okay, they're going to share theirs with you, and then we'll see if somebody's willing to share. Somebody has a little more confidence.
About the minorities and also the economy of all people. All people. All the United States is
Where were you when they called you down for the meeting? Were you there?
No.
Yeah. Oh my
I
god.
don't even, someone told me. I didn't even talk to them.
Oh, no.
Are those,
I didn't even know I was coming. I went.
Where'd you go?
All right, how are we doing? All right, so now that you've shared, maybe you're a little bit more confident. What did you come up with? Let's put the puzzle pieces together. Over here, what did your table come up with?
I didn't even know.
Josh? What?
They didn't tell me.
No. Different
I just
question.
said, oh,
Shh, guys. Ryan's answer is excellent. Okay. Awesome. The U.S. should help other countries be free through economic and financial aid. What do we mean by free? Remember, this is right after World War II, so what is free synonymous with? Non-communist, okay? We're going to help other countries be not communist, and we're going to do it through what method? Economic and financial help. We're going to help them rebuild to choose to be free, i.e. capitalist, non-communist societies. Okay, that's the Truman Doctrine. Does that make sense? The United States is going to do everything it can to make sure other countries don't go communist, right? By giving them financial, economic, diplomatic, all this type of help. So on your green paper, where it says, above that chart, it says Truman Doctrine in bold letters, write your summary. What's the Truman Doctrine? Okay, what did we come up with? Write that answer there in that space. So right here. That's where you put the definition. What's the Truman Doctrine? So it's not in that quote one box. It's in the part that says Truman Doctrine above that. Alright? Okay, so does this make sense to you a little bit? Let's do one more together as a group, and then I'm going to leave it to you to finish this chart up for me. So now pull out that white packet that's stapled together. It says quote 1 on the top. Okay, so pull out the one that says quote 1 on top. Okay. Pull out one that says quote 1 on top. Would somebody over here read quote 1 for us?
In Korea, the government forces which armed to prevent border raids and to preserve internal security were attacked by invading forces from North Korea. The attack upon Korea makes it plain beyond all doubt that communism has passed beyond the use of subversion to conquer independent nations and now use armed invasion and war.
Okay, so you're looking for a summary right there on the bottom of your paper in that big open space. Summarize that for me in one sentence. What is Truman saying there? Okay, what's he saying? I've given you the date. It's 27 June 1950. Okay, this is in his speech. What's happening in June of 1950? War is just starting in Korea, right? The UN is just getting involved. The UN, US, okay? So that's where he's at, that's your context. Now tell me, what's he saying there in one sentence?
Communism.
When you found your sentence, you've written your summary, I want you to use your highlighter and highlight what you think is the most important, the key part of that quote. Highlight the key part of that quote. Just another minute. Okay, who wants to share? What's your summary? What did you come up with? What is this quote basically saying? In other words, Becca, what did you come up with?
I said the like assumption that North Korea attacked South Korea and Korea was just like
Okay, so the war started because North Korea attacked South Korea, okay, and South Korea is just trying to protect its border, but the North is pushing into the South. The North being what kind of country? A communist country. All right. Anybody else have anything else they want to add to that summary Becca gave us? I said it a little bit differently. Okay, this is how I said it. Communism is going to spread through military might, war. That's what Becca was talking about. The North, the communist North, is moving into the South. Okay. Therefore, we must fight. Okay, and then the part of the quote that I found, I walked around, I see most of you picked the same part of the quote that I did, which is this. Communism has passed beyond the use of subversion to conquer independent nations and will now use armed invasions and war. So initially, the Truman Doctrine said, we're going to help you out financially, we're going to help you out economically to make sure you don't become communist. But now, in this speech, what's Truman saying? Is just economic help enough anymore? Who said no? Vincent, why isn't it enough?
Because they don't, like communism is not giving choice to countries to decide whether to take communism or capitalism. They just overtake it.
Yeah.
War.
Okay, communists are now using war. They're forcing it. Therefore, we must respond in kind. Does this make sense? So this is what I'm going to have you guys do with the rest of the documents there. There's 5 more. None of them are very long. Each one you're going to summarize in your own words on that chart, and you're going to highlight the most important part of the quote with your highlighter. All right? I'm going to give you guys about 15 minutes to do this. You can work with other people at your table. I just don't want people standing up and walking across the room, okay? Right, go ahead and get started. Okay?
gosh, this quote is so long.
It is not that long. It's big type. You guys are sissies. Quote number 4. Don't, you guys need to read quote 4. It's very important. A key piece of information's in there, so don't skip it, okay? Once you've finished filling out those 6 boxes, go to those documents. See if you can answer. Just take a guess. You're making what's called an inference. Based on the evidence you've gathered, what do you think, what's the question I wrote on there? What do you think happened between Truman and MacArthur? And I want you to tell me why. Why, so an event, something actually happens. It's more than just philosophical differences. Something happens. What is it? And why does that thing happen? So when you finish the documents, that's where you're going to go. Yes.
This is what I list off.
So you're writing summary for summary.
You just did the first sentence.
Basically, like, keep the words together. It's like he wanted to move to Korea, so like the rest of the world can get involved.
Okay, show of hands. 3 more minutes, 5 more minutes, you're done. What's going on? Clue me in. 5 minutes over here, 5. Okay, 5 minutes it is. Okay, we'll take another 5 minutes to keep working on this. And then answer that question, what do you think? What happened between them? And why did it happen? Right?
Again? Yeah, that's also
My bad.
That's not sign language.
Why is there sticky?
Yeah, why is there a sticky hand in there?
Yeah. Yeah. The telescope arm. Yeah.
Okay, are we good? Anybody still working? Alright, then you tell me, then answer that question for me. What do you think happens between Truman and MacArthur, and why? Tell me the story. What happened?
Well,
I love.
Yep, Vincent?
so Truman wanted to keep the war little and just in Korea to not
Okay.
expand it, not risk a third world war,
Okay.
because that would be horrible.
So he wants to keep the war in Korea, not let it expand, so we don't end up with a third world war. That would be horrible. Got it.
And MacArthur wanted to kind of expand the war and fight the whole communism Soviets thing,
Yeah.
the whole world, because he said if they get bigger, then Europe would fall, and that would be also horrible. And so he was for kind of starting the bigger war, the total war, and yeah, so that was.
Okay, perfect. So Truman wants to keep it limited, wants to make sure it doesn't expand and become World War III. MacArthur says we got to attack communism straight on, including in other areas like China, throughout all of Asia. Otherwise, if communism takes over Asia,
They would take
They
over
will
Europe.
take over Europe, take over the whole world, and this would be bad. Okay? So yeah, that's the ideology behind this. So what does this result in? What's this big event that all of this builds to? Anybody catch that? What? Well, it goes past Wake Island. This becomes apparent, this division becomes apparent at Wake Island. And I'll walk you through that in a minute. Okay, but what does this, eventually, what's the culmination of all of this? How does this all conclude? Truman and MacArthur don't agree, so what ends up happening? MacArthur is relieved of duty. That's military talk for what? He's fired. What? Don't argue with the person who can fire you. Yes, good advice, Garrett, good advice. Okay, so Truman fires MacArthur. Okay, and we're going to talk in a minute about why this is such a big deal. Okay, but he fires him over what Vincent said is this differing of opinion. And it goes back to this idea of, do we want to limit the war or do we want to expand the war? So, limited and total war. On the boxes down there, based off of what you read, what do you think limited war and total war are? Vincent?
Limited war is Truman's idea of the war.
Okay.
It's limited and not that expand. And total war is the idea of MacArthur to have a total war.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so a total war is a war that's unrestricted in terms of weapons used, territory, combatants, right? Objectives, why you're in this war, all of that is unrestricted. Okay, especially one in which the laws of war are disregarded. Did you guys know there are laws of war? There are, and they can get disregarded. There can be people who go, I don't want to play by those rules, and they don't, and that's bad. All right, but that's total war. That is complete 100% commitment, right? You are putting all of your eggs in that basket. You are not going to stop until you have won, right? That's total war. Can you think of an example of total war where a country has been all in? Germany when?
The
Second World War. Give me an example.
when they took over Poland.
Okay. Hitler was told, don't invade Poland, don't invade Poland. And he was like, yeah, whatever, I'm doing it anyway, right? He was 100% committed. He was all in, right? This idea of combatants, right? That's civilian versus military. When you start saying, I don't care if I'm killing civilians, it's for the importance of winning this war. That's total war. So could you argue that World War II on the United States part was a total war? Because did we kill civilians? Right? When? Bombs. We killed civilians, but we said it was important for the whole war. We were 100% committed. Limited war, on the other hand, this is that idea that you draw a line, that there are lines we don't cross, right? That we put some sort of a limit on this war. So it might be a limit on the objective. In this case, Truman is saying, our reason is a police action. The reason we're in South Korea is what? What did the North do? They invaded, right? So, what's the purpose? What's the objective of the Americans in South Korea? try to push them back. Is it to invade North Korea and change them? No, it's simply to push things back, and then that's the objective. And once that objective is met, that's it. So MacArthur's trying to say, oh, no, the objective should be what? Free all communists, so they don't have to be communists anymore. We should extend this, okay? So we've got this total war on one side. The objective is different in the South, okay? It could be the weapons used. MacArthur thinks total war, we need to use all the weapons at our disposal, including what ultimate weapon? The atomic bomb. Does Truman agree with that? No, that's a limit. He puts a limit on MacArthur, and he says, I'm going to limit how you can fight this war, what weapons you can use. These are ways that he limits the war. So you've already figured this out. MacArthur favors total war. Truman favors limited war. Okay, MacArthur says it's not good enough to just free South Korea. We got to free North Korea. We got to free China. We got to free the USSR, all these horrible commies. Right? Truman says, let's not take this Cold War and escalate it, blow it up, expand it into a hot war. Right now, the hot war is between North Korea and South Korea. Right? And the Cold War is the United States and Russia, right? We're fighting over communism, but we're just allies. We're not directly killing each other, right? If we go in and we start to wipe out communism, does that change? Yes. I see people nodding their heads. Yes. And that would take our Cold War and make it a hot war. And that's what Truman wants to avoid. Because are we the only ones with nuclear bombs now? No. Nope. Russia's got them too. Okay. So if you turn your paper over, you'll see on the left side there's a timeline there of some events that happened. I'm going to walk you through them really fast. Okay. We've got Lake Island. This happens in October of 1950. And basically what happens is that Truman flies out to the Pacific and he meets with MacArthur. And they try to get on the same page. Truman goes to MacArthur and he says, look, your job is to push them back to the 38th parallel. Okay, push the commies out of South Korea. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying not to start World War III. And MacArthur goes to Truman and he goes, yeah, but, I mean, come on, boss. We can take down all these red commies. We can do it. And they start to see this division in their objectives. All right, they're trying to get on the same page. Supposedly they do, but it quickly falls apart. Okay, because what happens is by Christmas Eve, MacArthur has sent his request to Truman. He says, look, Truman, I've got it. I can win this war for you in 10 days. Just give me the go-ahead. That sounds pretty sweet, right? But we already know that the Korean War doesn't end in December of 1950. And we know that there's no decisive victory. So did Truman say yes or no to MacArthur's demands? No. He said, no, you can't, because here's what MacArthur asked for. 30 to 50 atomic bombs. He wants to bomb the entire northern border between North Korea and Russia and China. Okay? He wants to take out all of their air power. Then he's going to team up with Chiang Kai-shek. He's the leader of the nationalist, the non-communist Chinese. Remember, they've been fighting this communist revolution in China. The leader of the non-communist, Chiang Kai-shek, has an army. Let's team up with them, even though they're not the official government of China, and push communism out of China. And he says, we're going to do this. We're going to spread a belt of radioactive cobalt, which is just what it sounds like. It's basically dirt and metal that's radioactive all across the land border on the north to prevent any ground support, okay, from trying to re-support all the communist troops and such that are already in the peninsula, okay? This radioactivity is going to last for 60 to 120 years. So if he had used it 68 years ago, 69 years ago, would it still be radioactive today?
Yeah.
Most likely, okay? But there's no way that they're going to be able to bring in trucks with stuff because they have to drive through this radioactive area, right? And it would completely seal off. So would it be effective?
No.
Oh, it would seal off any more transports from coming in, but it would also be completely and utterly disastrous, right? And long-term bad. But this is total war. Do you see how this is total war? This is MacArthur being all in. Is he holding anything back?
I feel like World War II messed with
What?
I feel like World War II messed with it a little
Maybe he had a little bit of PTSD from World War II. That's a lot of extreme, right? That is a lot of nuclear bombs. Okay? And this is the proposal that he sends to Truman. Is Truman gonna like this proposal? No. Okay? But MacArthur will tell anybody who will listen, look, I can end the war in 10 days, just give me what I need. And he makes this public. And he makes it vocal. So what's that gonna do to the relationship between MacArthur and his boss?
Not good.
Not good. Not good at all. MacArthur is going to be fired. Truman's going to fire a 5-star general because he's being insubordinate. Truman says, look, I don't think MacArthur's going to do what I want him to do. I don't think he's going to follow orders. He wants to do his own thing. And I'm afraid he's going to go rogue, so he fires him. Now, MacArthur was, we decided earlier, very popular, right? So is this going to be something that the American people like? No. So what's going to happen to Truman? So he's not going to be elected. Truman actually is so unpopular for firing MacArthur, he doesn't even run for president in 1952. He's that unpopular. I mean, there's other stuff going on, but yeah, it's because he fired MacArthur. So MacArthur gets fired, and that's not good for him. And Truman does the firing, and it's not good for him either. And in the end, in 1952, we end up with, who is our president? Eisenhower. Okay, and Eisenhower is going to take office. And within just by that summer, he will have signed an armistice. What's an armistice? One of your vocab words, what's an armistice? A peace agreement. We're going to stop shooting at each other, okay? It's that peace agreement. We're going to end the conflict. Okay, and we're going to pull most of, but not all of our troops out of Korea. Okay, it's the peace agreement that ends the active fighting portion of the war. And that's going to be signed 27 July 1953. Okay, bringing the Korean War to a end, stalemate, standstill that it is. So, who were the winners in the Korean War? Now that we've talked about all of it, did North Korea win?
No.
Did they unify everybody under communism? No. Did South Korea win? Did they free the communist North and unify everybody under capitalism?
No.
No. Okay, did America win? Did we get to free everybody from communism? Okay, did the Russians win? Did they become a new superpower? No. Did Truman win? No, he loses the presidency. And what about MacArthur? Does he win? No, because he's not given what he needs to win, right? So this is the forgotten war. This is what ends up happening with Korea. After 3 years of fighting, nothing really changed. Tensions have just gotten worse. And some people have been destroyed. And that's kind of, you know, the legacy of the Korean War. All right? Any other questions about Korea? Can I move into our next aspect of class? The last 10 minutes. Here's what we're going to do. Okay? We're going to talk about using textual evidence in your writing. Those atomic bomb essays I read, you guys had great evidence. You didn't know how to incorporate it very well. So we're going to walk through how to incorporate really quickly. Okay? So what do wheat thins have to do with writing a good essay? Any ideas? I have here a box of wheat thins. What do they have? Everybody's excited now. It's lunchtime, right? What does this box of wheat thins have to do with writing a good essay? You're going to find out. I'm going to show you a couple of clips from the old Colbert show. This is from like a decade ago when he had his own show on Comedy Central. Okay? He is talking about wheat thins, okay, and extolling their virtues. Okay? I want you to notice he uses some quotes from a memo from Nabisco, the company that owns wheat thins. How does he lead into each of the quotes that he uses? How much of the quote does he use? And how does he continue after the quote's death? So what does he do after he quotes it, okay?
Are they gone? Good, because I'm not waiting for anyone who didn't already have wheat thins. Now, the team at Nabisco has broken down the wheat thins core message into 2 distinct categories. What is the role of the brand, and what's not the role of the brand? Bullet point 1, wheat thins are the perfect snacking sidekick, whenever, wherever, and for whatever. Okay? What's it go with? Cheese? Yes. Hummus? Sure. A discarded strip of truck tire? It can handle it. Now,
Okay, so how does he lead into it? You saw he quotes went up there as he was talking, right? Did anybody notice how he leads into him? Was it kind of seamless? Is it just he says something and then he says the quote and then he moves on? How much of the quote did he use? Did he use the whole memo? The whole paragraph? Snippets, right? Phrases, because that's all he needed to make his point. And then when he's done, does he just end his sentence with the quote? What does he do? He gives examples, he expands upon it. So you guys have probably all seen this in English class, right? The quotes, this is why Mr. Bird's so hungry today. It's been nothing but food in here. Right? I'm sorry, no, it's lunchtime. Introduce it. Give the quote, right? Give the fact, and then tell how that supports or adds to your paper or essay. Okay, this is the quote burger, the quote sandwich we are all familiar with. So, now that we've thought about it for a second, okay, remember, you've got to make sure that you've got to build up into the quote, you use your quote effectively, and then you explain it, or you expand upon it, or you add to it in some way. So now I'm going to have you watch another clip, okay, another clip. He's still talking about wheat thins, okay, and I want you to see if you can notice that, and write down one example, just anywhere you can find. Write down one example of him doing this effectively, okay? Here you go.
I would love to pour this whole box in my mouth right now. But the memo clearly states that we can't show overconsumption. That is a brand don't. You see, the serving size for wheat thins is 16 crackers. So as delicious as they are, I shouldn't eat more than 16. And also, if they are shown out of the box, like in a bowl, there should only be a max of 16. So remember, everyone, while wheat thins is, quote, a snack for anyone who is actively seeking experiences, those experiences do not include the experience of eating 17 crackers. And you know what? That is the way it should be. Because when you think about it, and they have, 16 is the perfect number of wheat thins to keep you on the path to and proud of doing what you love to do, no matter what that is. No matter
See, he's expanding on the quote here.
Driving kids to practice, watching a movie, arson, no judgment. Because wheat thins are not a creator of isolated, unshareable experiences. They are a connector of like-minded people, encouraging sharing. Perfect for a party. So just get out the big bowl, okay? And just fill it to the brim with 16 wheat thins. Okay? There you go. 16 wheat thins. And you and 15 of your friends are set for the night.
All right. So did you see how he did that? I tried to point out a couple of them. He uses multiple quotes, multiple different snippets in one sentence, right? He expands upon it. He says, okay, they say we should only have, and then he quotes 16 wheat thins is a perfect serving. And then he doesn't just end his sentence there. What does he do? He says, so this is what you do with it. So he gives us kind of this bridge through the quote. Does that make sense? He's connecting one part to another using this quote. So here's what you're going to do. The other side of that, you've got 4 minutes left. On the other side of that white card you wrote your thesis on, you are going to practice this. Okay? You're going to pick one of these quotes I've given you up here from different books. Okay? Or if you have a quote off the top of your head, but don't take time looking for one. And I want you to try to write a sentence that does what he did. So pick all of a quote or part of a quote, introduce it, give us the quote, and then expand upon it. Okay? Whoever writes the best one, these are all going to get submitted to me. Mr. Bird and I will pick 5 or 6 that are our favorites. When you come in on Wednesday, we're going to vote on them. Whoever quote wins, their little quote sandwich wins, gets this box of wheat thins. Oh, you want it now, huh? Okay, so pick a quote, see if you can create a quote sandwich for me. Introduce it in some way. It can be about anything you want. You can make it about driving, you can make it about your favorite TV show, I don't care. But incorporate one of those quotes to make your point and make sure that you introduce it and then expand upon it afterwards, okay? The best one gets a box of wheat thins. You will be our wheat thin quote champion. Got it? Okay. This will take you to the bell. When you're done, you'll just put it in the basket up here. Next time you come to class, make sure that you bring all of these papers back with you so you're ready to write your essay. I'm not saying it's homework because it's not, but it would be very smart of you to fill out that yellow organizer I gave you over the next 2 days, since you know what the essay is about, and you have all these documents plus all the atomic bomb documents from World War II, and you could fill this out so you're ready to start typing on Wednesday. All right, any questions? You guys are like really into this. You're like competing. You're gonna get those wheat thins, huh?
No, they're new.
Okay, so if I were to take the one on the Princess Bride, right, in my day television
Very
sequence,
cool.
it says something like, you know, you were only gonna start to say things like, what I did. Just show you how
Alright,
it
get it.
takes. Just how I just put that in the middle of the sentence to make it something about something else. That's what I want you to do.
Don't do that.
Take them.
I kind of wish I could have gotten a copy of some things memo because that in discussion. Some things.
You win that box.
Because it is beautiful. Got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes before the bell rings. Make sure you get your quote. Make sure your name is on it, right? Did you want your points for your thesis that you wrote? Okay. And then enter into this quote contest. Your sandwich quote here. Quote sandwich, that's what it's called.
Today I went on a run this morning, so I don't get past it. I went to the States.
Got it. Wait. Thanks, guys. Have a great Monday. I will see you on Wednesday. Essay days are the best days. Vincent doesn't believe me on that one, I can tell.
No.
I roll there.
Also, I'm super hungry because you showed that burger.
Well, it's lunchtime. I'm actually gonna.
I don't have any money. I can't buy anything.
Well, I had seminary experience, so I
No, I live in
got
Orem.
Wendy's.
And I teach piano after school, like at 2, so I gotta wait for that. And then,
Food.
I teach piano, and then I gotta stay here to take F because my whole sister has a friend's winter guard show, so I gotta watch that. So
That would
I'm
kill
gonna
me.
come home like.
I know, and I was like, so stop.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's something.
Thanks for coming today.
Stuck in my head. Mile high.
Is that 'cause TikTok?
No, I don't know why I but I did, and then that's not what that's really how it goes.
I was just gonna be like, because I
I
had it all done.
identified.
Okay, I didn't
I
turn it
just
in.
trying to get it to fit the box. So it's okay, don't worry about it being late.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
You're waiting. Hi.
Attention students, language lab is going on now in the library. So again, anyone involved in the language lab, please head down to the library. Thank you.
All right. You probably drink more water than I do, and that's probably